are holding unacceptable views.
Joe Rosenell with the front line with Joe and Joe. Once again, let us go into the breach. In the wake of Olivia Chow's victory as the new mayor in Toronto, the city is filled with haze and smoke. It'll soon be filled with tents and poop. Congratulations, Olivia Chow. And Canadian people, you need an exorcism. Justin Trudeau took this picture in Reykjavik, Iceland. Guy gets around. He must have a couple of bucks. God knows the Canadians don't, but I digress. Just an FYI about the folks from Iceland. You know they eat rotten shark meat. Look it up. It's a delicacy. Why would you eat rotten shark meat? Why? Then again, why would the Canadians vote Justin Trudeau into office numerous times? Maybe they're eating rotten shark meat and they're just pissed. Justin Trudeau says we have to let love be louder than hate. What is he talking about? Play the clip.
Right now, trans kids in New Brunswick are being told they don't have the right to be their true selves, that they need to ask permission. Well, trans kids need to feel safe, not targeted by politicians. We have to stand against this. We have to stand up for the freedoms we believe in and continue our work of letting love be louder than hate.
Put your comments in the chat. Justin Trudeau, I think, just dropped some acid and he's having a bad night. Canadian man calls the police. He asks a simple question. If you're out on the street, you have to wear clothes, right? Makes sense to me. Clearly, the emperor has no clothes, and neither do the gay Canadians. Common sense is not too common. This is a voice from the streets. He's got common sense. Pay attention. Play the clip.
Hello, everybody. Has there ever been a more divisive government? The strategy right now is to give a very, very small minority of people all the rights, and everybody else has to conform to this very small group of people. Otherwise, you're called names like a bigot or a transphobe, etc. This includes things like allowing people to shake their penises in front of little kids and twerk in underwear and stuff like that at pride events, and pretty soon that'll be coming to libraries. All of this is done to make one small group of people very, very spoiled and pampered and above everybody else. They matter, you don't. That's the message. They matter, parents don't. The only people that matter are people who cater to this incredibly small group of people. It's intentionally being done to make Justin Trudeau look like a hero when he's actually a zero.
This dude is spot on. Little vulgar, but spot on. He's also got whales on his shirt, which makes him even more spot on. You listen to a guy who has whales on his shirt. That's common sense. Oh, you crazy Canadians, they're at it again. Couples compete in a wife-carrying competition. Play the clip.
Go! Down! There you go. Okay, down. Down to the obstacle. Oops, another tumble. Fireman on the left. That wasn't very successful there. So down through the cone. Now back. Here they come. Okay. Okay. Come on, here to the water. Let's give them a hand here. Okay.
Pretty strange. Somehow I think this is an environmentally friendly activity. Trudeau will stop it. If you were carrying BIPAC, dual-spirited, pronoun-carrying, bride-wearing, crazy people, I think they would be okay. But men and women can't carry each other in a competition. That's allowed, and it is clearly an environmental hazard. I want you to look at this picture. It's disturbing. How are these men permitted to basically be nude in public and no one says a word? I can't believe it. I'm going to be honest with you. I have nothing else to say. I wanted to show you this picture of Dougie Ford just because politics. Look at this guy. Trans-identified rugby player was finally pulled off the field after seriously injuring 3 female players. Clearly, common sense is not too common anymore. You know, I sometimes see things like this and I think of like my grandfather or like one of my old aunts, if she saw this or he saw this. My grandfather came from Ohio. He had a tattoo of a deck of cards on his arm, was in the Marine Corps, ran a diner, blue collar guy, raised 4 kids. He would see something like this. He'd be like, what's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? I slap your face. Here's Jagmeet posing with an Amazon worker, pretending like he's a normal person and he's not a millionaire. He's also trying to be a hard ass. And Jagmeet, listen, no one believes you. Dougie Ford opines on the homeless situation in Ontario. So Dougie basically thinks that the homeless folks are seasonal. Maybe like in the winter, they go to Florida because they like, they're snowbirds. They like the weather there. How about we don't tax the people of Canada to death, and maybe some of those people would have a place to live, i.e. they could pay rent. How about that? What do you think? If that doesn't work, they could continue to go to Florida in the winter. That's probably what they're doing, and obviously, it's a temporary fix. We can go with that, or we just don't tax them to death. I invite all the Canadian listeners, as well as our American listeners, to look at this documentary by Aaron Gunn. Sadly, big tech and big government has tried to stop you from watching it. It is enlightening. It's rather long. I want to show you just a little taste of it. Play the clip. Skyrocketing crime, violent attacks, drug-fueled chaos. Literally tens of thousands of Canadians have died in this period, this sad period of the country's history. People have to be informed. People have to have a change of heart. And once again, and I'm going to say it again, Canada needs an exorcism. Watch this documentary. It is eye-opening, truly. Despite severe lockdowns that resulted in many in-person events turning into online events, the Trudeau government issued $12 million worth of grants to dozens of nonprofit organizations in order to fund Pride events between 2020 and 2022. Priorities, 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 Canada. Where you spend your money is where your priorities lie. To all my Canadian American friends, if you like what we do on the front line, I'm asking you to give $1, just $1. Production costs money. We do it for you. We are self-funded, and $1 goes a long way. That's less than a cup of coffee. In Canada, a cup of coffee might cost $5, so you're getting off easy. Please, just give us $1, and we'll keep the content coming your way. God bless you, and remember, stay free.
Debate here in Canada. While we were originally scheduled to debate a Conservative private member's bill proposing a tax credit for medical treatment this evening, the Conservatives made a last-minute change. Apparently, discussing abortion was of a greater priority to them, and so we will be debating Bill C-311 this evening. One of two things: either Pierre Poilievre is pushing to have this debate, which reopens the question of abortion here in Canada this evening, or he has no control over his caucus members. Perhaps it is because he has an interest in supporting his self-described 100% pro-life candidate in Portage Lisgar. I know that the by-election date of Monday is coming up quickly, and that the Conservatives are making all attempts in order to attract their anti-choice voters there.
That's right. I am anti-choice. You don't have the choice. You can't kill your kid. That's right. I love when I'll take their language, Joe, and just turn it right against it. You're right. I'm anti-abortion. I'm not pro-life. I'm anti-abortion. That's the way I describe myself. Now I am pro-life, but on this issue, yes, I'm against you. You don't have a choice to kill your kid. People like her, Joe, they hear of a woman being pregnant, and their first impulse is to say, "Are you going to keep it?" That's their impulse, okay? Because it's so ingrained in their brains, okay, that you could actually kill a baby in the womb, and anybody who even remotely opens their mouth, hey, look what they did in America. Look what they did in America. Look what they did to Alito and Kavanaugh. The guy traveled across the country because he wanted to kill Brett Kavanaugh after they leaked the Dobbs decision. These people are insane, Joe Rossinello. They've never heard of a baby in the womb that they didn't want to see dead. And I don't care how hyperbolic that sounds. When you listen to people like this, that's the only conclusion you could come to.
Well, I want to focus in on what you said in the beginning. I mean, here you have legislation that protects a woman who's attacked who happens to be pregnant. And in it addresses the violence that's obviously being perpetrated against the child in the womb. There was a famous case in California, Scott Peterson. He killed his wife. She was 6 months pregnant. This is California, liberal California. He was charged with 2 murders. Now, if we say we're pro-woman, to your point, Joe, why wouldn't you be for that? That is a pro-woman piece of legislation. If a woman is 6 months pregnant, she is attacked and murdered, you killed 2 lives. Why? Because science says so. That child in the womb is viable. Right. Science says so, not me. Science.
That Scott Peterson case, the feminists were in an uproar because the law charged him with a double murder.
Correct. But my point is, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If that's the position that you want, then you can't say you're pro-woman, because any sane woman who sees another woman attacked who's 6 months pregnant, you're going to tell me that woman is going to be like, you shouldn't charge that man with 2 crimes?
Right.
Because it's a crime.
Right.
We've all seen women who are pregnant, and at a certain point, like it or not, the child is viable. It's viable. So it is a murder of 2 lives. Now, I understand her position that she obviously sees a legal wiggle room there to then say that abortion is illegal, blah, 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 blah. Well, again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Then people should call them out for what they are. You're anti-woman then. If you're pro-abortion and you're against this piece of legislation, you're entitled to that, but then you can't say you're pro-woman.